Graham G. Matthews here at BleachReport.com and FanSided as well. We're talking to Jake the Snake Roberts, WWE Hall of Famer, ahead of the upcoming episode WWE Legends Biography over on A&E coming up later on in February. Jake, what's going on? Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, life is wonderful, man. Sunshine every morning, no matter what it looks like to you.
Hey, that's a great attitude to have. How are you feeling nowadays?
Feel great, man. I finally got my body going back the right direction. I got a little sick there, had COVID 3 times, and I had a little lung issue come up, but I finally got back off the oxygen. I'm no longer on the oxygen, so that's a good thing. And hitting the gym 5-6 days a week now, and starting to feel a little salty around the edges, starting to get a little crisp in my step.
That's great to hear. No, listen, fans were worried about your health coming off the bouts of COVID, like you said. So it's great to hear that you're doing well. You feel like you're back to 100% now. I mean, I guess if you're in the gym, you're ready to go, kick ass.
Yeah,
and another match.
I think I'm pretty close at 90 to 100%. I'm riding a bike 45 minutes a day.
Nice.
Like I said, I'm going to the gym and all this, doing all the right things anyway.
Nice.
And none of the bad things, and the fans, if they want to talk to me, man, Instagram, I'm out there, Jake the Snake DDT, and if somebody gets bored, they can check out my podcast sometime, Jake the Snake Pod.
I was going to say the Snake Pit, you're still doing that as well. You're a very busy man right now, Jake. You got this episode of Biography coming up. Yeah, I know. You're obviously we're talking here now. You're doing interviews today to promote this upcoming episode of the show. You got your podcast, always talking about your career, everything else you got going on. Have you seen this documentary yet? I know it's not released.
Yes, I have.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yes, I have. It's fabulous. It's everything I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted the truth to come out.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how hard and how ugly it was, I wanted that out there. And I wanted it out there so we could show people that, people do make mistakes. They fall, they get down, and they lay down there for a while and they suffer. But there is a choice. There is hope. That's the main thing, hope. You've got to keep a handle on hope, man, because without hope, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get down in that pit, man, there is no hope. So you got to look for a lifeline, a way out, any way out. It doesn't matter if you got to lie, cheat, or steal to get the hell out of there. You got to get out. I didn't have to. Dallas Page saved my ass. And when he introduced me to DDPY yoga, that was probably the magic right there that started me on my road to recovery, because when you haven't taken care of your body in several years, you can't get up, you can't get down, you can't move. You're grunting every time you go to move, and you feel like a big bliffet because you've blown up to 310 pounds, and you're suffering. You're really suffering. Well, then I started doing DDPY yoga, and in a short time, I'm talking like 2 weeks, I'd lost like 6-7 pounds. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Something good can happen. And I kept going. I lost 45, 50 pounds finally. And it's like, holy shit, there is hope. I can do it. And that was the fire that I needed to get me to believe again. You got to believe in yourself, man. But I had to do a lot of changing, man. For 2 years, I didn't go anywhere by myself. I cut my driver's license up so I couldn't drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be sure that I didn't ever go alone anywhere, because when you're alone, that's when things happen. I've been to rehab, man. I went to 3 or 4 rehabs. Hell, at the end of one rehab, I'm calling my drug dealer, telling him to meet me at the end of the road so I can pick up something as I'm leaving the rehab. So my clean time was about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
After spending 3 months in a rehab.
That's crazy.
Well, it doesn't work. Rehabs don't work, man.
Yeah, you think so?
They don't. No, fuck no, they don't work.
Do you think it depends on the person, or like just in general?
No, man. In general, they do not work. Here's what happens.
Okay.
You go in there for 90 days. Meanwhile, your bills are accumulating. You come out, and guess what? Everybody wants fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't have a job anymore because you've already blown that off. Everybody wants their money. Everybody wants their money. They're calling you. They're fucking sending you letters, they're hounding you for their money. And pretty soon you just go, oh, I can't take it no more. I'll get high.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do. So you can stop all the noise. You know, you want that noise to stop, man.
Yeah.
And you don't have the support system. That's the thing with DDP. I was in the house for 2 years, man. I didn't go anywhere without somebody going with me. That meant that if I went to work, I had to pay their fare, their airfare, their hotel. That got expensive after a while. I can't tell you, I was looking forward to the day that I didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because that was taking like half my money that I was making, you know. But yeah, no shit. Hope they're having a good fucking time.
Yeah.
But it kept me sober, because what you got to do is you got to make yourself pick up new habits. We are creatures of habit. We are. We know our certain foods we like to eat. We know where we like to get them from.
Yep.
We know where we like to drink. We know where we like to look for girls. We know everything, everything that we want. So you're creatures of habit. So you got to break all those habits, though. You got to change them all. You got to find new friends. That's a big one, because you can't hang out with your drug buddies anymore. You can't hang out with the drunks anymore. You don't fit in.
Yep. So
you got to find new places, new things, new toys, new play toys. All those things are important. But getting a great foundation under you, getting new habits, you got it linked, man.
Yeah. I mean, going off that, you mentioned it before, and I feel like that's such a great message to send, because we saw that in one of your other documentaries, The Resurrection of Jake Roberts, which, if people haven't seen, just a fantastic piece of business, came out 10 years ago. But going off of that, kind of everything you just said, the place that you find yourself in now in life to 10 years ago, I mean, the difference you made health-wise, attitude-wise, outlook on life, such a difference. And it's so cool to hear you talk about your struggles and stuff in this documentary and here right now as we're talking, because I feel like it can help a lot of people who find themselves in a similar situation, you know?
That's what I wanted out of this. I wanted to save one person. If I can save one person, then I've done it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to save thousands. I really do. I've already saved people, man. I mean, I get people all the time contacting me and thanking me for helping them get out of where they were at. I mean, I sponsor several people all the time and helping them break that addiction cycle and the abuse cycle. So life is awfully good, man, if you do things right.
Yeah, most definitely. That's the message that we're going to see in this documentary. And, you know, it gives fans also a newfound appreciation for your career, who you are as a person, like the newer fans that may not have been around, obviously, for your original career, but not even haven't seen that original documentary. And we've seen a lot of, you know, different messages from you in these different docs, which is great to see. The Dark Side of the Ring one offered a different look on your life, obviously a much darker side. But like you said, everything you've ever done is real. And I think that kind of offers people a different perspective, which is great to see. But looking at like the current business as it stands right now, I assume you still watch the product. You talk about it on your podcast. People send you questions about it all the time. You know, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing nowadays, and especially with you being one of the greatest promos of all time, what the differences between now and then and stuff that you see in all the various companies?
You know, everything they're doing now, man, is rushed so much, man. They're not taking the time to develop characters. You know, they've got a lot of great athletes going out there, flying through the air, doing just inconceivable things to their bodies. And at the end of the night, nothing sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, well, what was that? What are they going to do next? And it's because there's not a character involved. And I'd like to see them start working on their characters. Of course, they'll do that with interviews. That'll help a lot. Yeah. And hopefully I'll be able to help some of those guys make better interviews. That's my new job at AEW, and hopefully I'll do a good job of it. But the product is still needed. It's still wanted. But it gets frustrating when you see the same mistakes going on and on.
No, that's understandable, man. For sure.
Oh my God. Sometimes I'm like, Jesus Christ, if I had some teeth I could pull out, I would, but these are all connected. I pull this out, the whole damn thing comes out. So that's that.
Well, you talk about helping people with promos and stuff like that, that being your new role. Does that mean that spells the end of like an on-screen role for you, whether it be in an AEW?
No, I think I'll be back out there.
Okay.
Lance and I'll be back out there. We got a new look.
Perfect.
Lance has a new look that we're going to go with, and we'll see what happens with it.
I know we teased that on Twitter a little while ago, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he has in store for when he comes back. But
he's a monster, man.
Oh, he's great. Lance is great. I mean, kind of going off that, obviously, you've helped him a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You talk about helping people with promos. And AEW, I guess WWE as well, if anyone's ever reached out to you as far as like, hey, can you watch this for me? Can you give me some pointers? Like anyone that you feel.
I have people do that.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Or if you don't want to share any names, that's fine too.
Well, I'm not going to share any names, but that's not my place to do it.
Yeah.
But no, I have people send me stuff and ask me to look at it and critique it, and I don't mind doing that.
As your character, I see a lot of, like you talk about current characters and stuff like that. Bray Wyatt obviously is someone that a lot of fans tie you to, and great to see him back in WWE doing his thing. Have you seen a little bit of what he's done lately and being back in the company?
I haven't seen his new thing yet. Okay. But I will get to it.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys that I feel like focuses a lot on the character sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, he does. And look what it does for him.
Yeah.
Look what it does for him.
He's one of the biggest stars in the company. Yeah.
He's one of the biggest stars in the world right now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a title.
Nope.
Does he need one? Nope.
I mean, talk a little bit about that as far as like, again, the documentary will talk about it, but you're also known as one of the greatest people to never hold a championship in WWE, which is such an amazing accolade and something to have on your resume for the WWE Hall of Fame, which obviously you were inducted 10 years ago. But talk about that, especially since back then there were a lot less championships, and we see it now. WWE, AEW doesn't matter. There's
it's all watered down now.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that as far as like how less is more?
Oh yeah. Well, when you've only got one stick to carry, whoever has that stick's a bad son of a bitch.
Sure.
But now when you got 12 titles, it's all watered down crap. Back in the day, if you had the world title or the intercontinental title, man, you had something. You were the guy. You were it. For me not to have it, because and there's a reason I never had one. Mm-hmm. It's because they were scared of me. They didn't know if I was going to be there, if I was going to show up, or if I was going to be fucked up or just get fired.
Sure.
I mean, I study all night for those drug tests, but I'd still fail.
Yeah,
right. Damn it. But that was my mistake, and I paid for it. I paid for it dearly. Mm-hmm. It probably cost me the world championship, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, you look back now, do you have any regarding your career, like when you sit down for a documentary like this, talking about your career with this biography episode, does it give you, especially at this point in your life, whether it be a new appreciation or like a new perspective on your career? Because obviously, like I said, you've done a lot of different documentaries on your career and your life, and you were at a different place 10, 15 years ago than you are right now. Can you talk about the perspective that you have on your career specifically, and I guess your life as well, looking back at it now in 2023 compared to 5, 10, 15 years ago?
Now that I look at it with a clear mind and everything, I see just how good I was and how far ahead of everybody else I was in certain things, whether it be with interviews or it be with the way I handled myself in the ring. And I never had that appreciation before, for whatever reason. I always wanted to do more, to be bigger, to be better, to be stronger. And I was never satisfied. But now that I look back at my work, I'm like, holy fuck. I did some pretty amazing shit.
You did.
And whether it was wrestling Andre or wrestling Earthquake and doing what we pulled off there, or doing the blindfold match. I mean, I covered just about everything you can think of, man, at the time, and came out on top on all of it, and I'm pretty damn proud, man, of what I've accomplished. Would I have done things differently? Yes, I would have loved to have had a drug-free life. Of course I would have. I wish the hell I hadn't screwed up my marriages. I wish the hell I hadn't, you can do that shit all day long. But what I've come to accept is who I am, who I was, and who I want to be. who I want to be is what you're getting right now. And this guy's a pretty cool cat. I mean, I look in the mirror every morning. I'm like, dude, you're a bad motherfucker.
That's what's important.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel great about me today. And I know that I'm going to do the right thing. I know there's an opportunity out there for me to help somebody today. And I hope I find it.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm glad people are starting to, I mean, listen, everyone already saw you in that light. I'm glad everyone's already seen you as one of the greatest of all time. I'm glad you, Jake, are looking in the mirror and knowing your worth and all the great stuff you've accomplished and how you've helped people and continue to help people in a variety of ways, whether it be through this documentary, on your podcast, helping people out backstage at any of these companies and stuff like that. So it's awesome to see. Such an honor to speak with you here today. I appreciate the time. And that being said, not just the new episode of Biography, but one more time, you mentioned it earlier, you got your Twitter, people could check you out there, interact with you there, and your podcast as well. So I'll plug that away where people can find it.
Go ahead and throw it out there, jakethesnakeshop.com, man. Got a lot of cool stuff on there, like this thing here. This is brand new.
That's sick. That is really cool. That just came out?
Yeah. My
awesome.
buddy Sin Bodie made these.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
I'm going to be doing some Days of the Dead Comic-Cons coming up.
Nice.
In Las Vegas and LA and Chicago and Indianapolis this coming year. So if you can, catch me out there. If not, catch me on Twitter. Catch me on Instagram. Just catch me.
Sounds good, Jake. We look forward to it. Awesome speaking with you here today. I look forward to the doc coming out in a couple of weeks and looking forward to everyone else checking out of Develop. Thanks so much, Jake. I appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Jake. Absolutely.
You bet.